Good morning, everyone. In the last session, we started our discussion related to consumer development. So what is the meaning of consumer? Any application which is accessing services from other applications is called as consumer application. And by using Spring Boot, we can develop this consumer in three ways, guys. One is by using REST template. Second one is by using web client. And the third one is by using VM client. So what is the meaning of REST template? REST template is a predefined class that is available in the MVC and it supports only synchronous communication, whereas web client interface introduced in 5.x version of the Spring that supports both the synchronous communication as well as asynchronous communication also, and that is going to support synchronous and asynchronous communication. So as web client is supporting for both synchronous and asynchronous communication, REST template is not required. So what is the meaning of synchronous communication? Synchronous communication means after sending the request to the provider, if a consumer is waiting for the response, then it is called as synchronous communication. Okay, so sometimes we need to go with the synchronous communication, sometimes we need to go with the asynchronous communication. Asynchronous communication means after sending the request to the provider, consumer application no need to wait, it can proceed further to execute the remaining lines of logic. So that is called asynchronous communication. And yesterday we are able to develop one REST API, create a Spring Boot application with the web starter. So as we are using REST template, we created a web starter we added web starter dependency, and we created one service class also to access the provider. So if you see inside my service class, I have taken provider URL and I have created one method called get message method. In that method, I am calling get for entity. REST template object I am using, REST template.get for entity I am calling. So what is the meaning of this? REST template.get for entity, provider URL. Which URL you want to access? That provider URL I am specifying and I'm giving string.class. So what is the response that you are getting? The response we are getting in the string.class. Okay, REST template.get for entity, the provider URL, comma string.class. I want to send the request to this URL and I want to get the response in the string format. That string I am going to store into this variable. Okay, next one, HTTP status code, entity.get status code. What is the response we are getting? And from that, what is the body we are getting? So this is my service class. So when I call this service class method, it will make the request to the REST API and it will get the response. So how to call that service method? As of now, I am calling that from the start class. So run method is returning configurable application context. From that configurable application context, I am getting the bean. From that bean, I am calling that method. So then I am getting the response. Then I am getting the response from the REST API and I am printing that response on the console. Bean.get message, the response will be printed on the console. So are you guys able to develop this consumer application, guys? Are you able to develop this consumer, or you are facing any issues with the consumer development? Are you guys able to develop the consumer, or you are not able to develop the consumer? Come on. Are you able to develop the consumer or not?
Yes, sir.
Able to develop.
Able to develop. So you understand the picture of REST API, what is provider application, what is consumer application, how provider is developed, how consumer will be developed. So provider development we will do by using REST controller. So that is a API which will provide the services to other application. Consumer development we are developing using REST template or web client or VM client is available in order to access the services from the provider. So in order to develop provider, business requirement is there. Based on the requirement, we will develop the provider and we will test that provider. And inside the provider, we will add the Swagger documentation also. Then we will give the provider details to the consumer. Consumer will read provider details by using Swagger documentation. Based on that, consumer development will happen. Okay. So consumer will read the documentation of the provider. Based on that, they will develop the logic inside the consumer and they will send the request to the provider to access the services. Now, so without Swagger, what is the problem, guys? If the Swagger is not available, then what is the problem for us? Guys, if the Swagger is not available, then what is the problem for us? Guys, come on. If the Swagger is not available, then what is the problem?
We don't know the provider's
manual document.
API.
So we don't know how to access the provider. We don't know where is the provider. We don't know what methods are available in the provider. We don't know what is the URL pattern. We don't know what input we need to send to the provider, what output we need to send to the provider. Okay, so today I'm going to give you a Swagger documentation. So can you guys read the documentation and can you understand what services provider is giving? Guys, I will give you one Swagger documentation. Can you understand? Can you understand the provider details, and based on that, can we develop the consumer for that provider, guys? I will give you one Swagger documentation. Okay, so by using that Swagger documentation, can you understand the provider and can you develop a consumer for that? Yes or no? Yes, so this is my Swagger documentation. So this is the official Swagger documentation URL from me. I developed one REST API project. Okay, so that REST API I have deployed in the public platform, cloud platform, and I am giving my Swagger URL for you. Are you able to hit my Swagger URL, guys? Can you check it? Are you able to hit my Swagger URL?
Yes, sir.
So that is classes.ashokit.in/swagger-ui/index.html. I have given Swagger documentation of my application. I developed one REST API, that is a provider. I deployed that REST API in the cloud platform. Okay, and I have generated Swagger documentation for that, and I have given Swagger URL for you. Now in that Swagger documentation, you go to an option called ticket rest controller. You go to an option called ticket rest controller. So can you see what all the methods available in the ticket rest controller? Guys, can you see what are the methods available in the ticket rest controller? Come on.
One post to get.
One post method is available, two get methods are available. One post method / ticket. So if you want to book a ticket, then you need to send the request to this post method, and it is expecting request body. So the request body you can send in which format, guys? In which format it is expecting the request body?
JSON or XML?
In which format?
JSON.
Only JSON, huh?
JSON or XML?
So that means provider can consume. So by looking at this request body, JSON XML, what we need to understand? By looking at this JSON and XML in the request body, what we need to understand?
Producer is providing both the...
Provider can consume XML and JSON. And in order to book a ticket, so assume that this is a IRCTC REST API. Assume that it is a IRCTC REST API, ticket booking is available. So in order to book a ticket, you need to send a post request to this URL / ticket. So it is expecting the data in the request body. What data we need to send in the request body? Name available, email, date of birth, gender, date of journey, source, destination, from which station to which station you want to travel, and what is the train number that you want to book the ticket. For which train you want to book the ticket, you need to send this information to the provider in the request body, and that request body is required, it's mandatory, and it can take the request body in the JSON format or XML format. So this is one post method available, and there is another get method available. You no need to pass any input for the get method. When you click on this get request method, it will give you all the tickets which are available, in the REST API. It is going to give you all the tickets which are available in the REST API. Okay, guys. Next one. So there is another method is available, get tickets with the email. What is the meaning of get tickets with email? What is the meaning of this, guys?
Based on the email, how many tickets are available?
Sorry, can you come again?
Based on the email provided, we'll fetch
so
the
email
ticket.
It is expecting as a path variable, or email it is expecting as a query parameter. It is expecting email as a path parameter. It is expecting email as a query parameter.
Path variable.
Path variable.
Path variable. So that means based on your email ID, what are the tickets you booked, you can get that information. Okay, so this is provider. So with this provider information, can you from this Swagger documentation, can you understand what are the methods available in the provider? What are the methods available in the provider? Based on this, can you develop the consumer? Based on this, can you develop the consumer? Come on, guys. Based on this, can you understand the provider and can you develop the consumer in order to access the provider, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? So I have
Yes.
given the Swagger URL for you. Can you read that Swagger URL documentation and especially look at this ticket rest controller and go through that documentation for 2 to 3 minutes of time, or you take 5 minutes of time. You take 5 minutes of time and you tell me what you understood from that documentation. You tell me what you understood from the documentation. Take 5 minutes of time. We need to develop one client application. We need to develop one consumer application which is going to access the provider. We need to develop one consumer application which is going to access the provider. We need to develop one consumer application which is going to access the provider. Okay, so I want all of you to do that. Come on, read the documentation and let me know whether you are able to understand that or not. So now we need to develop a client application to access this provider. Provider is live. Provider is available in the live. So you can access that provider now. You should be able to access that provider. So in order to develop that provider, first you need to understand the consumer. In order to access the provider, first you need to understand the consumer. In order to develop the consumer, first you need to understand the provider. So there is a message REST controller available. In this /greet method available, /welcome method is also available. Now when you go for ticket REST controller, post ticket method available, which is used to book the ticket. To book the ticket, this is the information we need to send in the request body. That can be in the JSON format or XML format. Get tickets method is available, which is used to send the get request to get all the tickets which are available in the JSON format. Or it will support for which response types, guys. It can give the response in the XML format as well as in the JSON format. And there is another method available which will take your email ID as a path variable. Based on this email ID, it is going to give you the tickets which you have booked with your email ID. Based on the given email ID, you are going to get the response. So there are 3 methods available. One is post ticket method. Another one is get all tickets method. Another one is get tickets based on the email ID. Now we need to develop a consumer application to access this provider. We need to develop a consumer application in order to access this provider application. So to develop the consumer, first you need to understand the provider properly. To understand the provider, I have given provider documentation in the Swagger. Okay, can you read that Swagger documentation and can you ask any questions if you have?
Sir, we are seeing the course error. Even
Sorry?
if I'm trying to trigger the get method.
Sorry, I did not get you, sir.
So means I try to trigger the ticket.
Yeah, from here we are not able to trigger that. I need to do some changes in that network level. From the Postman,
Okay.
you can try.
Okay, sir.
Understand the ticket rest controller, all of you. All of you understand the ticket rest controller, provider documentation. For that, we need to develop the consumer now. Now our consumer is going to be a web application which will have user interface also and which will communicate with the provider. I need to develop one web application. In that web application, web service communication also will be available. Today's class is very, very important. We are going to develop a real consumer which is going to have the user interface and which is going to communicate with the provider to book the ticket, to get the tickets. Are you guys able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
A URL contains get
Sorry,
request.
guys, are you able to understand the documentation now? Where is the documentation available? Is it in my system or it is in the cloud? Guys, where is the documentation available? Documentation is available in my system or documentation available in the cloud platform?
In cloud.
Cloud.
So everyone can access my documentation now. So you see, whatever the REST API I developed, that REST API I map it to one domain name also. If you see the domain name, classes.ashokit.in/swagger documentation URL. So whatever the REST API I have developed, I have deployed my REST API in the cloud platform and I mapped that my application to the domain name. So with the domain name, you are able to access my Swagger documentation. So if I give this Swagger documentation, you can understand my provider. Based on your understanding, then you need to start your consumer development. In the real time also same thing. Provider will be developed by one company. They will give the documentation of the provider to the consumer team. Consumer team should read that documentation, should understand that documentation. If any questions are there, they need to ask the questions. They should get the answers. They should get the clarifications. Once you got the clarification, then you need to start your consumer development. So I'm giving 5 minutes of time for you people to understand the provider. Once you got the clarity on the provider, then we will start the consumer development. Are you able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
Anybody having any questions on the documentation, guys?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. There is no question.
Sir, a URL contains get request without using path variable and query parameter. Then
You can send a get request with the path variable, without path variable. So there are two methods available. If you send a get request without path variable, you will get all the tickets which are available in the system. If you send a get request with the email ID, so based on your email ID, what are the tickets you booked with that email ID, only those tickets will come. Without path parameter, if you send, you will get all the tickets which are available in the system. If you send a request with email ID, so based on the email ID, you will get the tickets. One method is available, post method, which is used to book the ticket. Book the ticket, get the ticket. One is a post method, two are get methods available. That is our documentation here. You got my point? And you check it. What data we need to send in the request, what data we are going to get in the response. So you need to understand that. What is the input? What is the output? You should know. What is the input? What is the output? You should know. What is input structure? What is output structure? What input it is expecting? What output it is expecting? What input the provider is expecting from the consumer? What output the provider is giving to the consumer? All that information you should know from this documentation only. Still anybody not able to understand the documentation, guys? Still anybody not able to understand the documentation? Come on. Able to understand or not able to understand?
It's fine, sir.
I'm not getting any response.
Yes, fine, sir. Understand, sir.
You understand?
Yes,
Okay.
good, sir. Please continue, sir.
You got the clarity, right?
Yes, sir.
So what we need to do now? What is our requirement now?
Develop the consumer application.
So you got the clarity on the provider. Now you need to develop a consumer. So you can say that provider is available in the cloud, which is IRCTC provider. Provider is available in the cloud, which is IRCTC provider, guys. It is available in the cloud platform. It is IRCTC provider developed by some company. You know the documentation, you have the documentation. Now, what I want to do is, I want to develop one consumer application. I want to develop one consumer application. Inside this consumer application, UI pages will be available, controller will be available, and a service will be available. So this is my make my trip application. What is this, guys? This is make my trip application. So make my trip application is a web application. So user interface is available. End user can communicate with this make my trip application. End user can communicate with the make my trip application. End user will talk to make my trip application. Make my trip application will give the response to end user. So here in the make my trip application, UI is available, controller is available, UI is available, controller is available in the make my trip application, and in the make my trip application, services also available, business logic is available. From this service, we need to talk to this provider application and we need to get the response from the provider. So here, if you see, make my trip application is used by customers, guys. End users available for the make my trip application. Customers are going to communicate with the make my trip application. Customer will send the request and a customer will get the response. This communication, can we call it as a C2B? Can we call make my trip communication as a C2B communication, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Come on, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Can we call this make my trip communication from the end user is called as a C2B communication? Yes, it is a C2B communication. Now in the make my trip application, UI pages are available. So with that UI, it will talk to the controller available in the make my trip. Controller will talk to service available in the make my trip. And what the service class will do in the make my trip application, guys? What the service class will do in the make my trip application? This service class is going to communicate with the IRCTC provider. This is called as B2B communication. This is called as a B2B communication. So in the real time, applications will be developed like this. I'm an end user. I will communicate with the make my trip application. Make my trip application will take the data from the end user and make my trip will send the data to the IRCTC application to book the ticket. IRCTC application will book the ticket and IRCTC application will maintain the tickets data in the IRCTC database. Okay, so here end user is communicating with the make my trip is communicating with the IRCTC. So now who is a consumer and who is a provider here? Who is a consumer and who is a provider here?
Make my trip is a consumer.
Make my trip is a consumer and IRCTC is a provider. So now provider is already ready. I have given the documentation for the provider. Provider Swagger documentation is available. Now I want to access that provider. Now I want to access the provider by developing a consumer application. Now what logic will be available in my consumer application? Customer should be able to book the ticket. Customer should be able to get the ticket. Customer should be able to book the ticket. Customer should be able to get the ticket. So for that, we need to develop some UI logic. UI pages are required to collect the data from the customer. So when they perform some operation in the UI, it will go to my controller. My controller will call the service method. This service method will communicate with the provider application by using REST template or by using web client or by using FIN client. So this provider is developed by someone, and where is that provider? Do you know where is provider and what is the technology used to develop the provider, guys? IRCTC application, where is that application is running and what is the technology used to develop that application? Do you need to bother about that?
Sure.
Do you need to bother about that IRCTC provider is developed by using which technology? No. Why we don't need to bother? Because it is distributed application, interoperability is available. Provider can be developed by using any technology. Consumer can be developed by using any technology. consumer and provider should communicate. How the consumer and provider will communicate? By using HTTP protocol as a mediator. And how they will exchange the data? By using JSON and XML. They are going to exchange the data. So today we need to develop one consumer application as C2B application. So end user should be able to communicate with our application, and our application should be able to communicate with the provider application. So can we say provider application nothing but it is a REST API? Can we call this IRCTC provider as one REST API which is providing the services to other applications?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
This is a REST API which is providing the services to other applications. Now, you know the IRCTC details. I have given the documentation for you. I have given the URL for you. So with that URL, you are able to understand ticket REST controller is available, post ticket available, get a ticket available, get tickets available with email ID. So post ticket is used to book the ticket, and get tickets to get all the tickets, get tickets with email ID. Based on the email address, you should be able to get the ticket. So we need to develop these three functionalities in our consumer application. So customer should be able to book the ticket, customer should be able to get all the tickets, customer should be able to get the ticket based on the given email ID. Are you clear with my point?
Yes, sir. Sir, in real time, every website follow this scenario only, sir.
Sorry?
In real time, every website follow this scenario only, sir.
Yes, sir. In the real time, every application will be available like this.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So one web application will be available. That web application will communicate with some other web application to get the services.
Yes, yes.
Now you got the picture how the Make My Trip and IRCTC working in the real time. IRCTC web application is available. IRCTC web application is available. Make My Trip web application is available. End user will communicate with the Make My Trip application. That Make My Trip application will communicate with the IRCTC provider. So Make My Trip is giving the C2B, and IRC Make My Trip to customer to Make My Trip C2B, Make My Trip to IRCTC B2B. So what is the meaning of C2B and B2B, guys?
Customer to business communication.
Customer to business.
What is the meaning of C2B and B2B?
Customer to business communication and
Customer
business to
C2B nothing but customer to business communication. B2B nothing but business to business communication.
application
Now,
to application.
can we develop this consumer application now? Can I
Yes,
say
sir.
consumer is a web application?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Can I say consumer is a web application
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
which is using web services? So in the web application, web service also will be available. So my web application, Make My Trip, I am going to develop as a web application. That web application is going to communicate with the IRCTC for the B2B communication. Now, let me do that, guys. So I'm going to develop one Make My Trip application as a consumer. Okay, I need to import that project now. I need to create it from this website, start.spring.io. Project I'm creating as Maven. Language is Java. Boot version. Group ID in.ashok.it. Artifact ID, I'm going to create a 03 Make My Trip app, which will communicate with IRCTC. Okay, here also base package name I'm giving, package type jar, dependencies. What are the dependencies required? Only web dependency I am using. Click on generate. So with this, my project got downloaded in the form of one zip file. How to import this project? Extract this zip file, extract this to 03 Make My Trip application, and keep this application in your workspace folder and import into your IDE. Classes, 45 SBMS, workspace, yes. Make My Trip application available. Let me import it. File, open this project. Make My Trip application. Click on OK. Trust this project. In this window only, I'm opening that project. Yes. So with this, I'm able to load my Make My Trip application. Okay. First of all, can we try one GET request really is this application is able to access provider or not. Network checking I am doing, guys. I just want to check it. Really my application is able to access provider or not. Let's verify this by making one simple REST call. From the Swagger it is not working. From here let me try this. I will make REST template RT is equal to new REST template. REST template RT is equal to REST template RT dot get for entity. The URL I will specify https www dot classes dot ashokit.in /welcome. So this is one URL string dot class. I want to make a request to this URL and I want to get the response. System.out.print. This is just for testing. Am I able to make a call to that third party application or not? Am I able to access the provider or not? Just I'm making a get call to check it. So this is the URL of the provider. Welcome endpoint URL is available. Go to browser and open this URL. Am I able to get the response?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Through application, am I able to access it or not? I'm checking. Okay. So in the boot application will start from the start class, right? Inside this start class, I'm creating object for the REST template and I am creating the response entity object. Okay. And I have given the URL of the provider classes.ashokit.in /welcome. This is third party API URL. I want to get the response. Let me run and see that really is it working or not. Really are we able to access that provider or not. If the provider is working, then we will develop the actual application to book the ticket, to get the ticket. With this, are we able to get the response from the provider or not?
Yes.
Application is getting started. If I get the response, that means it is working as yes. Am I able to get the response from the provider? Guys,
Yes,
am I
yes,
able
sir.
to get the response from the provider?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that means our application is able
Yes,
to connect with the provider. Now let us develop the real logic. Okay, we are able to access it. Let us develop the real logic. So what is the real logic that we need to develop, guys? We need to develop this application, Make My Trip application. So what we need to do in the Make My Trip? So here, three things, guys. One is book ticket. Second one is get tickets. What are the two operations I want to do? Customer should be able to book the ticket by using our application, and the customer should be able to get the ticket from the customer should be able to book the ticket. Customer should be able to get the ticket. So we need to develop the consumer. So now can you tell me what are the steps we need to follow? What is the process we need to follow in order to develop a consumer application? Can you tell me what are the steps we need to follow in order to develop a consumer? I created my project, I imported my project also, that's fine. Then what is the step that we need to do? What is the step that we need to follow in order to develop a consumer?
Consumer is a web application, sir. For that, we need to
Consumer
develop
is a
UI
web
technology.
application. What is the first step that you need to do in order to develop a consumer?
First, create an object for the
entity.
I'm not storing anything in the Make My Trip database as of now. I'm not writing database. Just I want to send the request and I want to get the response. That's it. No database, nothing.
First of all, I need to develop UI technology.
Develop
sir.
service class.
Create a client that can communicate to the application.
Yes, we need to develop a consumer application that is going to communicate with the provider. Okay, so consumer I need to develop. That's fine. I created a project that is a Make My Trip application. Spring Boot start class is available. So from where I need to start the development of consumer? From where I need to start the coding of the consumer?
Service class.
First need to check what is the return type of the provider services. The VO objects needs to be created.
Can you repeat once again? You are correct.
Controller. The
Service-
request will come to
Then-
controller.
Sarita,
Service
please go ahead,
you need to
Sarita.
develop
You
the
are
logic.
right.
Okay, so once the VO objects are created, then we can go ahead for the service and call our provider methods, and then we can create the controller so that our endpoints will be accessible.
Yes. So whenever we are going to develop a consumer application, guys, so always you need to start the development from this side to this side. Don't start from the UI side. First, always start from the backend. So first you should develop the service layer, which is going to communicate with the provider. Once your service is ready, then you need to develop your controller. Once the controller is ready, then you need to develop your UI. Are you able to understand my point?
Sir, but
Are you guys able to understand my point? So first we need to develop our service. So what is the role of the service in the Make My Trip application? By looking at the diagram, you can easily understand. What is the role of service in this Make My Trip application?
to communicate the provider?
What is the role of the service in this Make My Trip application, guys? Come on.
Track the provider
IRCTC
and get the values.
It is
Get the
used
services
to communicate with the IRCTC application. So in the Make My Trip application, there is a service class available. That service class is responsible to communicate with the IRCTC application. So whenever you want to develop the logic to communicate with the other application, can we say that logic is consumer logic? Can we say that logic is a consumer logic, guys?
Yes, sir.
Come on, Bill, respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the architecture I have given. My provider is ready. My provider is already running in the cloud platform. Now I want to develop a Make My Trip. That Make My Trip is going to access that provider. So to develop that Make My Trip, it is a web application. User interface is required so that end user can book the ticket from the UI. Then from the UI, the request will go to controller. From the controller, the request will go to service. Service class should have the logic to communicate with that REST API. So inside this service class, we are going to use REST template. Inside the service class, we are going to use the REST template. So can you tell me what is the purpose of that REST template?
To send the request.
Guys, can you tell me what is the purpose of that REST template?
To send the request
Access provider.
Synchronous
Service.
communication.
We need to access
It is
the provider
used to
class
send the
and
request to the provider. So what methods available in the provider? What are the methods available in the provider?
3 methods, sir. Post, get.
Post ticket available, get tickets available, get tickets with email ID is available. Now,
Yes, sir.
I want to send a post request. I want to send a post request. So to send the post request, what is required, guys? If you see the documentation, you need to understand. In order to book a ticket, there is a post ticket method is available. For this post ticket, we need to send the data in the request body. So this data we need to send in the request body, and that body data can go in the JSON format or XML format, and we will get the response in this format. So this is request payload structure, and this is response payload structure. So when you are going to develop any consumer, first you need to understand which methods you want to access from the provider. I want to access post ticket method. So in order to send the post ticket method, in order to access post ticket method, what is the data we need to send in the request body, and what is the response we are getting from the provider. So what input we need to send to the provider, what output we will get from the provider, you need to understand that. What is a request payload? What is a response payload? So by looking at this post ticket method, you need to understand what is a request payload and what is response payload. So what is the request payload to book the ticket? Passenger data we are sending as a request payload. Ticket data we are getting as a response payload. Are you able to follow me? Yes, when you are developing a consumer, first thing you need to understand provider documentation. So in that provider, what methods available, what are the inputs we need to send, what are the outputs we are going to get, we need to analyze. Okay, provider is ready in the cloud platform. You can access provider, you can see the provider, documentation available. Now I want to develop the consumer. The first thing that I want to develop, book a ticket. I should write the logic to book the ticket. So to book the ticket, there is a post method is available. For this post method, I need to send the data in the request body. This is my request payload. And once I book the ticket, once I send the post request with this request payload, I'm going to get the response payload like this. So now for the request payload representation, you need to create one binding class. For response payload representation, you need to create one binding class. So when you are going to develop a consumer, the very first thing that we need to do is, design request and response binding classes. What is the first step that you need to do to develop a consumer, guys? You need to design request and response binding classes. What is the meaning of request and response binding classes? What do you mean by request and response binding classes? Come on. Come on, guys. What is the meaning of request and response binding classes? What
Request
data
means
we
which
want
we
to
are
send in the
passing for
request
consumer.
and what data we are getting in the response. So that request binding classes and response binding classes we need to design. So if you observe the provider, the post request method, this is the request data, name, email, date of birth, gender, journey date, source, destination, train number. Can I consider this is a passenger data? Guys,
Yes,
can we consider this as a passenger data?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can I consider this is a passenger data that I need to send in the request body?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can I consider this is a ticket data I'm getting in the response body?
Response.
So common
Yes,
sense we
sir.
have to apply. We are going to book a ticket. So by using IRCTC, Make My Trip application should communicate with the IRCTC to book a ticket. Make My Trip should take the data from the customer. End user will give the passenger data. You send that passenger data to IRCTC. IRCTC will execute the business logic to book your ticket. Then it will send the ticket data back to you as a response. Are you able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, so what is the first step that we need to do in order to develop the consumer logic? Design request and response binding classes. Okay. Now go to my consumer application, SRC main Java, only
package.
start class available currently. Let me create one package, new
Entity.
package, in.ashokit dot request package I am creating. In.ashokit.request package I am creating. That package I'm creating response. So I'm taking one package called request. I'm taking one package called response. So in the request package, I'm creating one Java class that is passenger class. Passenger data I will get. And in the response, what I'm going to get, whatever the response I'm getting, that response I'm going to consider as a ticket. So passenger class is available and ticket class is available. What data we need to send in the request body, which data we need to send as a passenger data, they will tell you in the documentation. If you scroll down, so passenger data, you need to send name, email, date of birth, gender, source, destination. Okay, this is a string. All are the string variables available. So this is the schema. Schema represents the binding, the data structure, what data you want to send, what data you are going to get. So if you go to post request method, it is expecting request body. That request body is a passenger data. So this is passenger data I want to send in the request body. So provider giving this information to the consumer in the documentation. So I need to send this passenger data to book the ticket. So what data I will get the response? This is the ticket data I'm going to get the response. So like this, you need to understand the schemas which they are providing. That schema will represent your request data and your response data structure. What data you need to send in the request payload, what data you are going to get in the response payload, that you need to understand, and for that you need to design your binding classes. So when you are going to develop a consumer, the very first thing, understand provider documentation. Understand provider documentation. After understanding the provider documentation, then design request and response binding classes to perform B2B communication. To perform B2B communication, we need to design our request and response binding classes. Okay, passenger class I am taking, which will represent request payload. Ticket class I am taking, which will represent response payload. Can you guys tell me what is the meaning of a payload?
Body,
Can you guys tell me what is the meaning of a payload?
data format.
Data.
Come on, what is the meaning of a payload?
Data
Two
format,
payloads.
data
Different
format.
Payload and
The
response.
data that we are sending from one application to another application is called as a payload. Make My Trip will send passenger data as a payload to the IRCTC. IRCTC will send ticket data as a payload to the Make My Trip.
Yes,
Guys, do you
Yes,
feel
sir.
that you are learning the real-time subject?
Yes, sir.
Do you feel that this is real-time?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes, sir.
If you don't feel that this is real-time, nobody will help you. So in the real-time, we are going to develop the projects like this only. Provider will be available somewhere. Consumer will be available somewhere. Provider will be developed by some company. Consumer will be developed by some other company. Communication should happen. Okay. So whatever that I'm teaching, all these things I have done in my company. Whatever the scenarios I'm explaining, every scenario I have done in my company. B2B communication, C2B communication, one project to another project communication. But actually, I did not develop Make My Trip application. I did not develop IRCTC in my career. I was not part of those projects. But everybody can easily understand this IRCTC Make My Trip. That's why I'm taking this example. Actually, I worked on the banking applications, insurance applications in my company. If I tell you that banking scenario, you may not understand. IRCTC Make My Trip is very famous applications because you are using in your life. So easily you can understand these things. That's why I have taken this scenario. But in the real time, if you know provider development, consumer development, then you can work on any type of project. So this is how the projects will be developed in the real time. You need to understand this very clearly and you need to develop this on your own. If you cannot develop on this own, it's your bad luck. If you can develop these projects, you are not a fresher. You go and check in the entire Amirpet or anywhere. Is there any fresher who is developing the applications like this? First of all, institutes will not teach this subject for the freshers. They will tell that for freshers, this is not required. This is required only for experienced people. But in the industry, whether you are a fresher or whether you are a experienced, we have to develop same kind of applications. Okay, are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Redbus also same like this, sir. Consumer
Sorry?
application. Redbus, sir. Redbus application.
Redbus, yeah, same thing. Okay, now I need to design my binding classes, request binding classes and response binding classes. What is the purpose of this request binding classes and response binding classes, guys? What is the purpose of this request binding classes and response binding classes?
Send the
To send
payload.
the payload.
Send the payload and get
Client
the
to server.
response.
To send the payload, to get the payload, to represent payload, input request payload, response payload. To represent that, we are using binding classes. So what is the request payload structure? Passenger data. What data I need in the passenger object? Let me take this. So from the documentation only, I'm taking that. Name is required. I need to send the name. It is a string type. So let me take private string name. Let me take that private string name. All the variables are string variables only. Private string name I am taking, and private string email, private string date of birth, gender, date of journey, source, destination, train number. Okay, so these are the variables that I am taking in the passenger class which is used to represent request payload. Which is used to represent request payload. So let me generate the setters and getters for this one, for these variables. Generate getters and setters for these variables. For all the variables, I need to generate the setters and getters. Okay, setters and getters available for the passenger. Now similarly, go to the ticket class. What are the variables I need to take in the ticket? Let us take it from the schema. In the documentation only, schema is available. So here, first one is integer, guys. Ticket ID is a integer. The remaining all are the string variables only. Only first one is integer. Ticket status is a string variable. Private string ticket status. So like this, everybody before going to start the consumer development, you need to design the binding classes like this to represent request payload and response payload. You need to design the binding classes for request payload and response payload. Request payload, response payload, we need to represent by using these binding classes. Are you able to follow this? Now let me generate setters and getters. Let me generate setters and getters here. Okay. I'm generating the setters and getters. Very good. So with this, my binding classes are ready. So once the binding classes are ready, what is the next step, guys? Once the binding classes are ready, what is the next step? Come on.
We can send the request.
Create
Develop the
service.
business methods. Develop the methods to send the request and response. So first step, understand provider documentation and create consumer application. Create consumer application with required dependencies. I have done that. So first I am able to understand my provider documentation, provider Swagger documentation I understood. Then I'm able to create consumer application with required dependencies. Now I am designing my request and response binding classes to perform B2B communication. Now develop service component to send request to provider. Okay, so my documentation is there for the provider. I'm able to understand the documentation. Now I am creating my consumer application. I created application with required dependencies, and I'm able to design the request and response binding classes. So here in this application, passenger data I need to send as a request to book the ticket. Ticket data I will get as a response. So I have designed both request and response binding classes to perform B2B communication. Now I need to develop service component to send the request to provider, So for this you can use REST template or web client. Currently I'm going with the REST template. Okay, now new Java class. I need to create that class in a separate package. New package in.ashokid.service. So here that service I'm creating class as make my trip service.
Sir, why these many packages, sir?
Sorry?
Can't we keep all these elements under one package for this?
Not recommended, sir. Okay, you can keep in one package also, but not recommended. So I'm taking a service package here. Now inside this service package, I should write the method. So what is the method I am going to develop now? What is the first method I want to send? Post request, right? Which is used to post ticket, book ticket. Post ticket means book ticket. Okay, let me write one method called public. So this method is going to return the ticket object. Book ticket method is available, and it is going to take passenger object as an input, and it is going to return ticket object as an output. Okay,
here there is
book
no
ticket method I am writing. What is the purpose of this book ticket method? To send the post request to this method. In my make my trip service, I am writing one method called book ticket method. Public ticket, book ticket. So method parameter is passenger object, method return type is ticket object. Now, to send that request, we need which class? REST template. REST template RT is equal to new REST template. Can you guys tell me what is the REST template class and why we are using that REST template class here? Can you guys tell me what is REST template class and why we are using that REST template class?
To communicate to the provider.
Yes. To send the request
response.
and get the response. Now, so to book the ticket, I need to access provider. Provider method is mapped to post request. How to send a post request by using REST template? RT dot. What is the method? Post for. Come on. What is the method, guys?
Post for entity.
Post for entity. Three parameters I have to supply. First one is URL. Next one is request object, and the next one is response type. Post per entity method will take three parameters. Can you tell me what are the three parameters I need to send for post for entity method?
URL.
To which URL you want to send a request, and what data you want to send in the request payload, and what data you want to receive. Okay. Now, so let me take that URL. Private static final string book ticket URL. Okay, what is that URL? https://www.classes.ashokit.in/ticket. So this is the provider URL to book a ticket. This is the provider URL to book a ticket. Okay, how I will identify that URL? You can see the documentation. In the Swagger documentation, classes.ashokit.in is my domain name, /ticket is the URL. So I want to send a request to that URL. So this is my provider URL, www.classes.ashokit.in/ticket. This is my book ticket URL. Take that URL as a first parameter. What data you want to send in the request, guys? Passenger data you want to send in the request. So I'm sending passenger data in the request. What response you will get from the provider? JSON data. Do you want to take the JSON data directly, or you want to store the JSON data into your ticket object?
Store the ticket object.
Do you want to take the JSON directly, or you want to convert the JSON into ticket object? If I take string.class, what will happen? That is also valid. If I take string.class, what will happen?
Raw data will come, sir. Raw data.
It will give you the raw JSON. It will give you the raw JSON. So do I need to convert that into Java object, or I will tell to the REST template to convert into Java object?
REST template.
Do I need to convert that into Java object, or I will tell the REST template to convert into Java object?
I will tell to REST template to convert the Java.
I will tell to REST template to convert into Java object. Now, what it is going to return? Response entity object. It is going to return ticket response entity object. From this ticket response entity object, what I will do? Get body data. Get the response body, which will give you ticket object. Then return that ticket object from this method. Okay. This is the logic which is used to send a post request to the provider and book a ticket. So to book the ticket, I'm using, this is the provider URL. So to this URL, I'm sending a post request by using post for entity. So when you go for post for entity, which is going to give you ticket URL, which is going to give you ticket URL. So passenger object I'm sending in the request body. Passenger object I'm sending in the request body. Are you getting my point? Passenger object I'm sending in the request body. So when I am sending the passenger request, passenger object will go to the provider. Passenger object will be converted to the JSON, and JSON data will go to the provider. Passenger object will go to the provider. Passenger object will be converted to JSON, and JSON will go to the provider.
JSON will go to the provider because provider is.
I am passing the passenger object, but object will not go to the provider. That object will be converted to the JSON. JSON data will go to the provider. Then what provider is sending as a response? Provider is taking the passenger data and provider is giving the ticket data in the JSON. I don't want to take the JSON directly. I want to convert the JSON into Java object. That's why I'm specifying the response type as a ticket.class. So consumer is sending a post request to the provider URL with the passenger data. Passenger object I am passing. Object will be converted to JSON. So in the REST template, the logic is available to convert the object to JSON. Passenger JSON will go to the IRCTC. IRCTC will give the ticket JSON. That ticket JSON I want to convert into ticket object. Are you able to understand this line of code?
Yes, sir.
Post for entity. What is the meaning of a post for entity?
We are sending
We are
request.
sending a post request. What
Yes.
are the parameters we are taking for the post method?
URL.
3 parameters we are taking. What are those 3 parameters? One is provider URL. Second one is request payload object. And the third one, response payload type. Response will come in the JSON. Convert that JSON into Java object. Suppose instead of taking ticket.class, if I take it as a string.class,
Yes, sir.
if I take it as a string.class, what will happen?
Raw data will come.
Raw JSON will come. I don't want raw JSON. I want to take the JSON, convert that JSON into ticket object. So response entity get body. That body JSON data will be converted to ticket object, and you will get the ticket object. And that method is returning the ticket object. So this is book ticket method. So it is taking passenger object and it is returning the ticket object. Now similarly, I want to get the tickets. Public, I want to get the tickets here. In order to get the tickets, what I'm trying to do is public ticket array, get all tickets. What are the tickets available in the provider? I want to take all the tickets. You can take the ticket list or a list of tickets, or ticket array also you can take. Now first let me write the URL, provider URL, get all tickets. Okay, all tickets URL. Just I'm using this URL, tickets URL. How can you identify this URL? In the documentation only that URL is available. Get of tickets URL. So if you send get of tickets URL, then you will get all the tickets. I don't want all the tickets. I want the tickets of a particular user. I want to know only my tickets. If I want to know only my tickets, my email ID I will send. My registered email ID I will send, then I will get only my tickets. If I don't send email ID, it will give all the tickets for us. So this is the URL which is going to give you all the tickets. Okay. Now I want to send a request to this URL. Book ticket URL, get tickets URL. Okay, get all tickets URL. So book tickets URL is mapped to post for entity. Get tickets is mapped to get request, get for entity. So URL is ready. I want to send a get request. So take the REST template object. REST template RT is equal to new REST template. RT dot get for entity. What is the URL? All tickets URL is available. What is the response you will get from the API, guys? What response provider will give you? Provider will give you which response, guys?
Object.
JSON or JSON array?
JSON array.
All tickets means more than one ticket can be available now.
Yes, sir.
Now you see the response payload, response structure. Go to the provider. In the provider response structure, tickets. So no input, no parameter, no body. Response structure. In which format your only one ticket is coming or a ticket array is coming?
Ticket array is coming.
When you are sending a get request to get the tickets, one ticket will come or more than one ticket can come?
More than one ticket.
You look at this structure, guys. If you look at this, you will understand. Is it representing only one ticket data or it is representing in the array format?
Array
of tickets.
Array format. What is the meaning of array? More than one element.
More than
one ticket can come. So REST template, get for entity, all tickets URL. I'm going to get more than one ticket. So if I take this as a string.class, what is the problem?
JSON raw data will come.
What is the problem if I take string.class?
Raw JSON will come.
Raw
JSON will come. I don't want that. So I want to convert that JSON array into my Java objects. More than One ticket will go to one ticket object. 2 tickets will go to 2 ticket objects. So I'm going to take this as a ticket array dot class. So whatever the JSON array you are getting, you convert that JSON array into ticket array. You convert the JSON array into ticket array. Now let me get this. For entity dot get body, which will give you ticket array. Return that ticket array. Are you able to understand this method now? Are you guys able to understand this method?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we are implementing 2 methods here. One is to book the ticket, one is to get the tickets. Book ticket method is mapped to post request, get tickets method is mapped to get request. When I'm sending a post request, I'm sending the passenger data in the request body. It will give me the ticket data. I want to represent that ticket data into ticket object. Then when I'm sending a get request to get all the tickets, get for entity, I'm not sending any input. I'm just getting the output. That output is more than one ticket, JSON array. That JSON array I'm representing by using ticket array. More than one ticket object we are going to get. Yes, look at these 2 methods. Are you able to understand these 2 methods now?
Sir, post request time we are sending 3 parameter and get request we are sending 2.
Yes, sir. Post request 3 parameters means body also you are sending now?
Yes, but body there we are getting at response time.
Yes.
Okay.
When you are sending a post request, URL, request body, response type. When you are sending a get request, only URL and response type. No need to send the body.
Okay.
Because get ticket means you no need to send anything. You want to get the response.
Yes.
That's it. 2 parameters are sufficient. But when you are sending post request, URL, request payload, and response type. For post method, we are taking 3 parameters. For get method, we are taking only 2 parameters.
2 parameters.
You got the clarity?
Yes, sir. Sir, small doubt. Sir, passenger and tickets both are only POJO, 2 POJO.
Yes, sir. These are simple POJO classes. Passenger is used to represent request payload data. Ticket is used to represent response payload data. That's it. These are simple POJOs with setters and getters.
Okay.
There is no other logic.
Okay, sir. Got it.
You got the point?
Yes.
Guys, you are able to understand my service implementation. What I have done in my service.
Sir, you have to write one more method for get a single ticket, right?
We can write one more method. It is used to get the tickets based on the email ID.
Email ID, yeah.
Because particular customer records only we can get.
Get.
Are you guys able to understand my point now?
Yes, sir.
Are you clear with the post method? How to send a post request to the REST API by using consumer? By using REST template, we are sending a post request. In this, we are sending passenger data and we are getting the ticket data. And here get tickets method. This is the get request URL. We are not sending any data. We are getting the ticket array. Now look at the diagram of our development. So what is completed now? What is completed now?
Service.
Our service layer is completed. That means integration layer is completed. I created 2 binding classes. One is for request, another one is for response. Then I created 2 methods. One is used to book the ticket, another one is used to get the tickets. Just let me complete these 2 methods UI part also. Then we will go for the 3rd method, get the tickets based on the email ID. Okay. Now my binding classes are ready and my service layer also ready. This part I have completed. Any questions anybody as of now? What I have done, I understand my provider documentation, Swagger documentation available. I'm able to read the documentation and I'm able to understand the documentation. Then I created my consumer application with the required dependencies. Only web starter I have added. Then for the consumer to communicate with the provider, request data, response data, representation is required. So what I have done, I have designed request binding classes and I have designed response binding classes to perform B2B communication. Once our request and response binding classes are ready, then we need to develop the service component to send the request to the provider. So one is post request method, another one is get request method. I am ready. Now go to controller class. Let me create one package. Controller or REST controller, guys?
REST controller, sir.
REST controller, huh? Think again.
Controller, sir.
Controller.
We need to develop the controller or REST controller now.
Controller class.
Why controller? Why not REST controller?
Because we are
Controller
developing
also.
consumer class, sir.
JSON data
Consumer.
We are developing C2B application, right?
Yes.
Controller we need to create or REST controller we need to create?
We need to create controllers, sir.
We need to
Controller.
create?
Controller.
Controller.
Why we need to create controller? Why not REST controller?
REST can already in development, sir.
REST API is
Okay.
already available. We are developing consumer. So
Yes.
my request should come from the UI, right? So I need
Yes,
to take the request from the UI. I need to give the response to the UI. So what I need to do? I need to create a controller, not REST controller. If I create REST controller, then what we need to do? Again, we need to develop UI in the separate project, either Angular or React. If you create the REST controller in the Make My Trip, then the UI should go into Angular project or React project. Then you can create the REST controller. But currently UI I am not developing by using Angular or React. I'm developing the UI in the same application. That's why I'm going for the controller. Are you clear with my point? If
Yes.
I take REST controller, we can take REST controller also. But if I take REST controller, what we need to do?
UI should separate.
UI should go to the separate project, Angular project or React project. So we don't know Angular or React at this moment. So that's why UI also I'm developing in the same project by using time leaf. So that's why I'm going to create a controller. How to represent a class as a controller?
@ control and
Direct
At the
controller.
rate controller annotation.
sir, real time UI application is separate now.
Separate, sir. Separate. Controller is available. Let me inject the service here. Make my trip service. Let me perform auto wiring. Yes, I'm going to create one method, public string index method, return index page. Index method, which is going to return index page. So let's go here, @ get mapping, index page I am going to develop. Okay. Now, in this index page, what I will do is, first I will get all the tickets and I will show all the tickets here. One is index page, which is used to get all the tickets and display all the tickets here. So to get all the tickets and send it to the UI, I'm going to take a model object. What is the purpose of this model object, guys? What is the purpose of this model object? Come on.
To display the data in UI.
What is the purpose of a model object?
Location.
I'm not getting the response.
To return the data into UI.
To display data in
No. Can you
Then
come
data
again?
Which
controller to
location? The
UI.
data in the which location, sir?
To send the data from the controller to UI.
UI.
Okay, make my trip service dot get all tickets. I'm getting the ticket array. Okay, I'm going to send that to the UI. Model dot add attribute. What all the tickets I am getting from the database, I mean from the third-party API. I'm sending all the tickets to the UI. So whenever you access application, by default, all the tickets will be displayed. Whenever you access our application, by default, index page will be available. Index page is going to take all the index page is going to access the REST index. I mean, simple. When you access this application, index page will be loaded. So this method will be called. What I am doing in this method, make my trip service dot get all tickets. What it is doing? It is making the REST API call, getting all the tickets and sending those tickets to the UI application. In the UI application, I will display that one. Sorry, I forgot to add one dependency, guys. Time leaf dependency we did not add because we are using UI. UI we will develop by using which one? Spring Boot starter time leaf. Yes, because we are going to develop the UI, right? UI development we are doing by using time leaf. So I'm adding time leaf starter here. Now go to resources, templates, new file, HTML file. That file name is index.html. I created one index.html. Let me add the bootstrap for this one. How to add the bootstrap? Get to bootstrap.com. Go to the documentation of the bootstrap. Copy this one. Okay. Let me add this bootstrap. So in this bootstrap, I want to add some page navigation also, guys. Nav bar I want to add. Let me go to the navigation bar. Yeah. Let me take some nav bar. Okay, this nav bar is fine for me. Copy this nav bar. Go to this application. Inside the body, let me add the navigation bar. Okay, good. Navigation bar is added. Let me go to the start class and let me run my application. Application. Okay, sorry, controller I should not create in the base package. Let me create a separate package for the controller. New package dot controller. Make my trip controller. I will keep in the controller package. Package naming conventions should be proper. Yes, my controller is available. My controller is returning the index page. In the templates, I created index.html, just a navigation bar I have added. Then in that, after the navigation body, in the body navigation bar I have added. Then here I will add div class is equal to container. Inside this container, I will display view tickets here. View all tickets here. Okay, now let me go and start the application. Application started. So initially there are no tickets booked as of now, so tickets will not come. Empty table empty table we need to display. Application is trying to start. Once application is started, let us access the index page. So when you access that index page, it should give you localhost :8080. I'm trying to access. Application is getting started. So what is the logic available in the index page, guys? Inside the index page, the logic is to access, get all the tickets. All the tickets should come from provider. If the tickets are available, we will get the tickets, and those tickets we will display in the table format. Okay, localhost :8080/404 error we are getting. 8080 we are using. The invalid cookie will be ignored. Localhost :8080 controller is available. Make my trip controller. It is @controller. Get mapping / we are using model.add attribute key comma value return index. Templates index.html file. We are trying to access this index page. It is not loading. Let me do maven build again. Reload the project. Yes, project is reloaded now. Go to this Java start class, run this. Maybe time-leaf dependency not loaded properly because I added the dependency after project creation got completed. Now I have updated this Maven project. In the controller, I have taken one index method. In that index method, I am accessing all the tickets from service layer. Service layer will access all the tickets from the REST API and will send all the tickets to the UI. In the UI page, we need to display the data in the table format. Okay. Now index page is loaded. Application started. Clear this. Now go to this, refresh. Index page should load with the Bootstrap. Yes, Bootstrap page is loaded. View all tickets here. Home page is available. Features, pricing disabled. Now let me customize this index page according to our requirement. In the nav bar, home is available. Home means / we will display. Then book ticket here. This is one link I will use, which is used to book the ticket. That's it. I'm removing unwanted menu items. Home. Nav bar option is there, which I am going to delete. Not required for me. Nav bar I am using. And let me refresh it. Okay, I think I need to restart it. View tickets here. Whatever the tickets are coming, I need to display the ticket data in the table format. So let me go for a table. So let me take a table from Bootstrap only. Get to bootstrap.com. Documentation, a table. I want to display one table. So this is the logic for the table. Table tr td th will be available. Take this table. Table class is available. T head is available. T body. In the T body, we will display the rows based on the list items available. Okay. So this one we will display ticket ID. Yeah, first one we will display ticket ID. Ticket ID, and I will display the source, and I will display the destination and date of journey and ticket status. Ticket status. In the T body, we need to create the table row. That table row we are going to create based on the array. Whatever the array we are getting, the table ticket array is coming. That ticket array we are going to iterate. So by using time leaf, we need to iterate that. So T body, in order to iterate, we are going to use tr tag. In the tr tag, we are going to use th:each. Okay, I want to iterate the each ticket. Okay, I will take the ticket and $of tickets. So th:each we are using. Each ticket I want to iterate, and each ticket data I want to display as a td. So td th:text we are going to represent. Text is equal to then $of ticket dot ticket id, whatever the id is available, we will display that ticket id here. Similarly, ticket ID and source, destination, date of journey, ticket status we are going to display. Okay. Can expand the tag. Right. Go to the ticket object. Ticket ID source is available. First one ticket ID, and the next one source available, and the next one destination is available. From where to where you want to go, date of journey, on which date you are traveling, date of your journey, and the ticket status I want to print. Is it confirmed or not? Ticket status. Okay, ticket ID and passenger name also you can display. Who booked that ticket? Okay, ticket ID, passenger name, and the source. Passenger name, source, destination, date of journey, ticket status you can print in the T body. Okay, like this we are going to display our table data. Then next one, I need one more method which is used to book the ticket. Okay, get mapping, load ticket booking page. Okay, in order to book the ticket, passenger object is required for the binding. Passenger P is equal to new passenger, which is form binding object. Model attribute of P and binding object. Okay, so this one is book page, book ticket page I'm going to display. Let me create one more page in the here HTML page which is used to book the ticket. Index.html is available, right? Let me take this one which is bookticket.html. In the bookticket.html, again this bootstrap will be available, navigation bar is available, div class container, book ticket here, book ticket here. The table is not required, just a form is required. We need to display the form here in order to book the ticket. In the table, TR and here TD, name of the passenger. Okay, that I need to display in the form. I need to write a form tag, form action, and th:\action basically. This is th:\action and th:\object. What is the form binding object and what type of request? I want to send a post request and action ticket and th:\object $of passenger object we are taking. So here I'm going to take a table. So inside this table, TD name and TD input type we need to specify input. TD tag we are going to take and we will specify input to type is equal to text, and the form binding we need to do th:\field we are doing th:\field star of name. th:\star of name we are taking in order to do this field display. Okay, this is name field display, passenger name and passenger email ID we are going to take. Input type is equal to email, th:\field is equal to email, and the next one name, email, source, from where you want to travel, what is your station, from which source you want to travel, and what is your destination. What is your destination? Okay, that also we are mapping, and name, email, source and destination. This is the destination where you want to travel. That destination I am taking and I am mapping that to the data. This is my form data, and date of journey, when you want to travel, DOJ. Okay, and the next one, for which train you want to travel, what is your train number. Enter your train number, right? Then one button. Let us take one button. Input type is equal to submit. Input type is equal to submit. Value is equal to submit. A form I am developing basically. When you submit this form, it will go to third-party API. Class is equal to button. Button primary I am doing. Okay. So if you observe in my controller class, I am taking two methods here. One method is index method, which is used to load our application page. By default, index page will come. Before loading the index page, I'm getting all the tickets from the service method. Service method get all tickets method will get the response from the REST API. Third-party API will give all the tickets. The tickets I'm sending to the UI to the index page. So in the index page, what we are doing, whatever the tickets we are getting from the REST API, we are displaying in our application in the table format. Okay, table class is equal to table and table bordered border and table striped. Like this, we can give some table classes from the bootstrap. So the tickets information will be displayed. And the navigation bar is available where you can book the ticket. So whenever you click on book ticket menu item, this get request will be called, which is used for book ticket. Whenever you call this book ticket, it will send the passenger object to the book ticket page. Okay, it will send the passenger object to the book ticket page. In the book ticket page, what we are doing, we are displaying one form so that user can enter the data. Okay, book ticket here. So book ticket passenger object we are displaying, which is used for form binding. So name, email, source, destination, date of journey, train number. We are taking that information from the passenger and click on submit button. When they submit that form, request will go to post method / ticket. Let us write one post method which is used to book the ticket. Okay, so let me write one method called @post mapping, and which is used for booking the ticket. Let me give /ticket. So handle ticket booking. Handle ticket booking, I'm expecting passenger object as a parameter. So once you get the passenger object, then simply we need to call service method. Make my trip service dot book ticket, pass the passenger object as a input. Pass the passenger object as a input, which will give the ticket object. Now let us send that ticket object back to the UI. Model dot add attribute ticket, whatever the ticket you booked, I'm sending the ticket object as a response to the UI on the same page. So using this ticket object, I can print the status here, paragraph th:\text. th:\text is equal to $ticket.status. Okay, your ticket booking confirmed. Whatever the status is available, that status I'm going to display by using ticket status. Your ticket booking confirmed. Whatever the status is coming, it will display. So with this, our consumer application is ready, guys. Now let me give the navigation links for that. In the index.html, whenever you click on home, it will go here. Book ticket means what is the URL pattern which is used to load this page, book ticket. When you click on this, it should go to book ticket. And in the book.html also, navigation, book ticket means it should open book ticket page URL. href is equal to book ticket. When you click on this, that page should be loaded. That's it. Now let me go to this application and let me start it. So basically what we have developed is, I developed one service which is going to communicate with the IRCTC API. And I developed a controller which is having methods. One method to load the tickets, one method to load the book ticket page, one method to book the ticket. So total in my controller there are 3 methods available. One is index method, which is going to display all the tickets we have booked. And one method which is used to load the booking ticket page, ticket booking page. And one method, once you load the page, you fill the data and submit. It is going to handle that. Let me use model attribute here. Model attribute of passenger object we have taken. Model attribute @ model attribute. Once the form is submitted and I want to display that form data again in the same object. Yes, this is MVC application which is having the UI page. So when you come to this application, first initially all the tickets will be displayed. Then you can go and book the ticket. When you click on book ticket, page will load. When you submit the form, ticket will be booked. Whatever the tickets you booked, you can see those tickets also. Clear the console. Yes, application is started. Clear this one. Now refresh localhost :8080. Yes, currently we are not getting any tickets. Click on book ticket page. Book ticket page is not loaded. There is an error. Look at this. What is the error we are getting in order to book the ticket? Any time leaf mistake?
Yes, sir. In the form, you have given th::object. Inside that, you close double.
Book ticket line number 36. Line number 36, I have done a mistake. What is the problem here? Let's remove this for now. We'll see that later. Stop it and run the application again. th::action, th::object, method, field names I have mapped correctly. Any other mistake? Guys, do you see any other mistake?
XML and that was
Sorry?
not configured, I guess. The namespace.
I did not get you, sir.
So the namespace is not configured.
Page should be loaded. Yes, a page is coming now. Home page. If you go to home page, what is coming here in the home page? What is coming in the home page? View all tickets here. Currently, no tickets are available. A book ticket. Now enter some name. I'm giving my name as Ashok. I'm giving my email ID. ashok@gmail.com. Source from HYD. Destination Goa. Date of journey. Some date I'm giving. 30th September 2024. Okay. Train number some 4321. Something like this. Click on submit. When I click on submit, my ticket is booked. Go to home page. Now, can you see the ticket is booked now? One ticket is booked. Passenger name Ashok. Source from Hyderabad. Destination Goa. 30th September. Ticket status confirmed. Let me book one more ticket. So passenger name is Raju. Raju@gmail.com. Raju@gmail.com. Source from Hyderabad, destination Pune, date of journey 25th September 2024, 25th September 2024, train number 8976. Click on submit. Booking completed, home. Now can you see Raju ticket also confirmed. But where these tickets are storing, where is the logic to book the ticket, guys? The ticket booking logic is available in our application. The ticket booking logic is not available in our application.
Not in our application.
Ticket booking logic available in our application. Ticket booking logic available in the provider application.
Provider application.
Available in the
Provider application. So are you able to understand how we developed a consumer now? So inside the consumer, if you observe, first provider is available. Provider documentation is available. Swagger documentation is there. Inside the provider, I have seen booking ticket rest controller logic available. Post ticket method is available, which is used to book the ticket. And there is another method available to get the tickets. Okay, two methods only I have implemented. Book ticket, get tickets. Another method is pending. Getting the tickets based on the email ID. That we can do later. So booking the ticket, getting the tickets I have implemented. Now, for that, what I have done first, I understood the provider documentation and I'm able to create a consumer with the required dependencies. So what are the dependencies I have used? Two dependencies I have used, guys. One is web starter. One dependency is web starter and another dependency I have used, which is time leaf starter. Another dependency I have used, time leaf. Okay. One is web starter, another one is time leaf starter I have used. Then I designed my request and response binding classes. Then I have developed my service component and develop controller with required methods and create UI pages. Develop controller with required methods. What are the methods I have taken here? One is index to display all tickets. Okay. Another one is ticket display ticket booking page. Display ticket booking page. And another one book ticket. Handle ticket booking functionality. Handle ticket booking functionality. And create UI pages. So I have created 2 pages. So one is index.html, another one is bookticket.html. That's it. So this is the consumer application I had developed. First we understood provider documentation. There are 2 methods. One is book ticket, another one is get tickets. Consumer application I created with 2 dependencies. One is web starter, another one is time leaf starter. Web starter will give you REST template, time leaf starter to work with the UI. Then I designed request and response binding classes. So for request binding, I have taken one class called passenger.java, and for the response, I have taken one class called ticket.java. Then I developed a service component to send the request to provider. So in the service class, if you see what is the logic, one is book ticket method is available and another one is get tickets method is available. Then after service is completed and I created my controller. Okay, here one is book ticket method and another one is get tickets method. One is used to book the ticket, another one is used to get the tickets. Then I created my controller. Inside the controller I have taken 3 methods. One is index method, another one is ticket method, another one is book ticket method. So load ticket page, load book ticket page. That's it. One is index, which will give all the tickets. Another one is load book ticket page to display ticket booking form. Okay, and the next one book ticket, which is used to handle ticket booking functionality. Then we created UI pages, 2 UI pages available. One is create index.html to display tickets in the table format. Another one is book ticket.html to book the tickets. Now if you run this application, now home page is available where you can see all the tickets. Book ticket page available where you can book the ticket. Okay, so book ticket page, home page. 2 tickets already booked, they are coming in the table. Go here and book ticket. Another name I am going to use. So let me take some Suresh email ID, suresh@gmail.com, and source, Suresh want to travel from Delhi to Mumbai. From Delhi to Mumbai. And date of journey, something like 18th September 2024. And a train number, some value. Click on submit. Ticket is booked. Success message we can display. Home page. So Ashok ticket is booked, Raju ticket is booked, Suresh ticket is booked. Now tell me from where I am getting these tickets data, where these tickets information is stored, guys. Is it available in my database or it is available in IRCTC database?
IRCTC.
So this tickets information available in my database or this tickets information available in IRCTC database?
IRCTC
Tickets information available in the IRCTC database. How my application is communicating with IRCTC?
REST template.
How my application is communicating with the IRCTC? Come on, man. I developed Make My Trip. So how my Make My Trip application communicating with the IRCTC?
Using REST template.
Using REST template. So my application is communicating with the IRCTC by using REST template. So now you understood this diagram, how the projects will be developed in the real time. Provider is developed by someone. I am developing the consumer. My consumer is a C2B. So as an end user, I can go to my application, I can see the tickets and I can book the ticket. So this is consumer. So in the consumer application, actual business logic is available to book the ticket, or consumer simply sending the data to the provider and getting the data from the provider? In the consumer, is there any logic available to book the ticket, or consumer don't have the logic to book the ticket?
Don't have any logic.
Don't have the logic to book the ticket.
Consumer don't have the logic to book the ticket. Where is the logic available to book the ticket?
Inside provider.
Then what is the role of our consumer now? What this Make My Trip application is doing?
To
What
communicate
this Make My Trip
provider.
application is doing, guys?
Communicating with the
To communicate
Communicated to the provider.
book the
It is
ticket.
simply communicating with the provider. So it is taking the data from the end user. I'm a customer. I want to book a ticket. So it will take the data from the customer. It will take the data, will give to IRCTC. IRCTC will book the ticket, will store in the database. IRCTC will give the ticket data. Now when I go for home page, so it will get all the tickets from the IRCTC, will display to the user in the UI. So can I say consumer and provider communicating? Consumer provider in the same system or in the different systems now?
Different system.
They are running in the same computer or they are running in the different computer?
Different computers.
Different computers. So provider is running in the cloud. Consumer is running in my local system. My consumer application is able to communicate with the provider application. Can I say C2B, B2B both are working now?
Yes, sir.
So where is C2B and where is B2B now in this diagram? Where is the C2B and where is B2B in this diagram?
C2B in our system.
B2B in our local system.
Our application
B2B
is providing
cloud.
C2B. IRCTC providing B2B.
B2B.
So whatever the application I developed today, end user is communicating with my Make My Trip application. Your UI is available, form is available to take the passenger data. Whatever the data passenger is giving, I will give that passenger data to IRCTC by using a REST call. I'm sending a post request with the passenger data in the request body. IRCTC will execute the logic to book the ticket and the ticket will be stored into IRCTC database. IRCTC will give me the ticket. That ticket I will show to the end user. And the end user want to retrieve the tickets. Then end user will go to the home page. When you go to the home page, what I am doing? I'm getting all the tickets from the IRCTC. I'm displaying in the Make My Trip in the UI table. That's it. So C2B and B2B. Provider, consumer. Provider is REST API. Consumer is web application. So in the web application, UI page available. Customer is communicating with my web application. My web application communicating with the IRCTC REST API for business to business communication. Now, currently, this IRCTC running in the cloud. Provider is running in the local. So one application is communicating with the another application. If one application is communicating with the another application, can we call them as distributed applications?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Can we call them as a distributed applications?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So whatever the provider application I have given, this is available in the cloud. These URLs you can also access today for the development. Whatever the URLs I have used today, whatever the provider URLs I used today, they are available in the cloud platform. My provider is available in the cloud. You can use that provider for your practice today. Can you guys develop this Make My Trip application today? Whatever I have developed in the class?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Is it difficult or easy?
Looking easy, sir.
So you need to create you need to understand the documentation. Documentation URL I have given to you. And you need to create a consumer application, web starter, and simple guys. You developed a web application in the WebMVC module by using TimeLeaf. So at that time, what we have done, we inserted the data into database, we retrieved the data from the database. But today, we are not inserting in the database, we are not retrieving from the database. We are giving the form data to IRCTC by using REST template. And we are getting the tickets data from the IRCTC by using REST template. So in the WebMVC, we inserted the record in the database and we retrieved the records from the database. Today, I am not inserting the records in the database. Whatever the passenger data coming from the form, I'm sending to the IRCTC by using REST template. When you want to retrieve the tickets, I'm not retrieving from the database. I'm retrieving by using REST template. That is the difference. So you developed, you know already WebMVC. You know how to develop a form. You know how to develop a form to capture form data. You know how to display the list of records in the table. But the only difference, last time in the WebMVC module, we have taken the form data, we inserted into database. And we retrieved the records from the database, we displayed in the UI. Today, not inserting in the database, not retrieving from the database. Take the form data, send a post request by using REST template. And send a get request by using REST template, get the tickets, display in the table. That's it. So it will take hardly 1 hour of time in order to develop this application. Whatever I have developed in the class, steps you need to follow. Understand the documentation. Create the consumer project with the dependencies. Create the request binding classes and response binding classes. Develop the service component to send the request to the provider. Book ticket. Okay. In the book ticket, input is what? Input is passenger. Input is passenger. And what is the output for this method? Output is ticket. So when it comes to the get tickets method, Is there any input available for this one?
No.
What is the input for this method? Not applicable. What is the output we are getting? Tickets we are getting as the output. So in the controller, there are three methods available. One is index method. Two, display the tickets in the table. Book ticket page to display the form. When you click the form submission, one method to handle the ticket booking functionality. So this is the application we developed. Booking ticket, view tickets. I want you people to complete this task today. And from tomorrow, you will not get the time to complete this, guys. So the documentation I have given, the URLs also I have given. Provider documentation I have given, provider URLs also I have given. Today, all of you should work on this Make My Trip application development. Today, if you develop this one, then tomorrow we are going to work on microservices concept. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock session is there. 8 to 10:30 class is there tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Don't miss. This is very, very important. Microservices topics are very, very important for us. Don't miss the classes from tomorrow. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Today, you need to complete this Make My Trip application development. How many of you confident that you can develop this application? Guys, how many of you confident to develop this Make My Trip application? Nobody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll do that.
Yes, I will.
Nobody is confident
Yes,
to
it's
develop this
possible.
Make My Trip application.
No,
Yes,
sir, we'll do it.
We'll do, sir.
Guys, is there anything which is difficult?
No.
Is there anything which is difficult for you?
Sir, need to do step by step.
You already know how to develop a form-based application. You already know form-based application development or not?
Yes.
You already know form-based application development. You know how to develop a form. You know how to develop a form. You know how to capture form data. You know how to send GET request. You know how to send POST request by using REST template. So I want you people to complete this task today.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Any questions, anybody?
Sir, that input form page, sir, I have doubt.
Input form page you have doubt, huh?
Yes.
Yeah,
Small.
tell me, what is your doubt?
Sir, form action is there, na?
Huh?
Action we are giving here, then middle one TS object for
Form binding object, sir.
that is used for what reason?
To map the form data to our Java object. Did you attend WebMVC classes?
I missed that time.
That is the problem, sir. Here, whenever we are loading this page, right, we are sending a passenger object. That means whatever the data that you enter, in this form, this
Yes.
data will be stored into object. To store the form data into object, we are sending a passenger object to the UI and we are mapping passenger object to the form fields. So when you submit that form, the data will be stored into object directly. You don't need to capture the form data manually.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes, sir. Sir, another thing, sir, while developing backend application, first what will develop, sir? Layer wise, just.
So layer by layer we need to develop.
Yeah, sir. From start, what will develop, then how we develop for UI now, na? Sir, service will do, then controller, then same
Yes,
way.
sir. First, always we will start from the backend side.
Backend, sir, which layer will develop in backend?
If you have database, repository layer. If you don't have database, then service layer.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So whatever
I have one
today,
question, Ashok.
same thing. Yeah.
What is service discovery? It's just for my interview. I wanted to ask
Service
because in
discovery?
every interview they ask it.
Tomorrow you are going to understand what is service discovery. In the microservices, you will get to know what is service discovery.
Can you brief me in 2 to 3 lines because tomorrow I have an interview. So
service discovery is a microservice which is going to display all the microservices which are available in our application.
is it service registry only which
Yes,
we
correct.
develop?
Service discovery and service registry, Eureka server, all are same.
Okay, I understood. Yeah, thank you.
Guys, don't miss the tomorrow session. Today, you need to complete this Make My Trip application and you need to come for the tomorrow microservices class, which is very, 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 very important. If you miss this Saturday and Sunday, then you are gone. You will not understand the remaining classes. If you miss this Saturday and Sunday, for you course will is completed today. Okay, because whatever I am going to discuss tomorrow, day after tomorrow, that concepts are required for the next 1 week classes. So if you miss tomorrow and day after tomorrow, happily you can think Spring Boot microservice completed for you. So don't miss the classes, very important. Tomorrow 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. class is available for us. Zoom link I will update in the portal for you. You can attend the classes from the portal. Today you need to complete, develop, make my trip consumer application using below provider details. So I have given the provider details in the WhatsApp group also. So I want you people to complete that application today. Then you can attend microservices class tomorrow.
Hello, sir. Sir, how we are joining Spring Boot class? Same way we will join tomorrow.
Same way also you can join tomorrow, sir. I will update that workshop link in the website only. Okay.
Okay, sir.
How you are joining the Spring Boot class daily, in the same way you can join for that class also.
Okay. Okay, sir. Got it.
So can we learn the web client also?
Yes, sir. We will cover the web client also, sir.
So, and how we can deploy this REST
Sorry,
API
can
in
you
the
come
cloud?
again?
So how we can deploy this REST API in cloud?
How to
service.
deploy the REST API in the cloud?
Yes, sir.
I will take a class for that, sir.
Okay.
So I will take a class for that. How to deploy the REST API in the cloud? It will take 2 hours of time. First, I need to teach you what is AWS cloud, how to create account in the AWS cloud, and I need to teach you how to create a Linux machine in the AWS cloud directly. So deploying this application in the cloud is a 5 minutes task for me. But for you, you should have some knowledge on the cloud platform. Do you have that knowledge? If you have that knowledge, I will show you within 5 minutes how to deploy that in the cloud. Do you know how to create a Linux machine in the AWS cloud? How to connect with that Linux machine? If you know, I can show you now itself. Otherwise, I will take one class on the weekend. I will take 2 hours of time and I will tell you how to create account in the AWS cloud, how to create Linux machine in the AWS cloud, how to install softwares in the Linux machine, then how to deploy Spring Boot application in the AWS cloud. It will take 2 hours of time. I will take a class for that. You got my point?
Yes,
Sir,
Yeah.
web tomorrow it will be covered.
Sorry, which one?
Web client.
Not tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we are going to work on the microservices. While developing the microservices, I will cover the web client. You got it?
Okay.
Sir,
Okay, guys.
I have one
What is the task for
clarification.
tomorrow? What is the task for today? Not tomorrow. What is the task for today?
Make my
So we
trip.
can develop make
What do you need to develop today?
Application. Make my tree consumer application of that.
What application you need to develop today? All of you, please repeat. What you need to do today? And what is your task for today and what is your task for tomorrow?
So to develop the consumer application as make my trip.
So today you need to develop Make My Trip application. What is your task for tomorrow?
So attend
What is your
the
task for tomorrow?
session, like
Sorry?
attend the 8 o'clock session.
Today you need to complete the Make My Trip application and tomorrow you need to attend the microservices class at 8 a.m. How to develop that Make My Trip application? I have given the provider details in the WhatsApp group and I have given the diagram also in the WhatsApp group. Based on the diagram, you need to develop the consumer application with the user interface. Okay? Good. Thank you guys. Any other questions, anyone?
Sir, I have one clarification.
Yeah, please.
So is there any scenario to invoke the consumer by provider?
No.
No. So it's always consumer invoke the provider, right?
Correct. If a provider invoking the consumer, that definition is going to change, right?
Okay.
So always consumer is going to invoke the provider. Provider will not invoke the consumer.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.